GHRT Rewinds are brought to you by Laughlin and Wolfington Realty. Mike and Nate and Harrison teaming up to help you sell your home faster and for top dollar.
George, Tammy Locker-Scully is back on the line. She's in Belfast this morning. Tammy, as we begin this segment, we told listeners that we'd be talking with you, and I hope you find this flattering. Two of them sending us a text message saying they're stopping what they're doing. One of them is in their car. They're turning up the radio because they want to hear the latest. They want to hear from you, Tammy. Welcome back to our program.
Thank you.
Yeah, good morning, Tammy. I guess I would say a pleasure to have you on again. I would like to not have to have you on again, but 3 months or more have passed, no confirmed sightings of Graham. But I do understand there's a reward that's been posted now for information leading to a reunion with him.
Yes, we've decided that the time has come to maybe provide an incentive for more people to be looking for him, to also perhaps I want to say we believe someone has seen him and either doesn't know that he is the subject of a silver alert and needs medical attention, or are conflicted about whether they should report their sighting of him. We're hoping that a reward might change that.
Can we go back to the initial? Take us back to June, I believe it was June, when Graham, who was at Dorothea Dix, walked away. He did not have his medications. And then the searches began. It may be painful to go back there, but we need to reset so those that aren't following this story may be aware. Tammy, take us back to that time, would you please?
Sure. I think it's very important because people do tune into this at different times, and there is a lot of confusion, but also kind of disbelief at how we could be here, and certainly I share that. On June 6th, he was on a supervised walk with a one-to-one supervised walk with staff on the Dorothea Dix campus. We, his team, were preparing him to be discharged. Part of that is building up to being in the community, and the first step is walking on the campus with staff. What I learned from looking in his journals is that he had an inner command that said when they told him to go, he had to go. And we do know that he's on surveillance footage from there, just absolutely running towards the woods. So he entered the woods behind Dorothea Dix off of Mount Hope Avenue. We know that because a K-9 team that Demi brought out several days after my son left tracked him through those woods to all the way to Sylvan Road and then on to Stillwater Avenue. That track has recently been confirmed, I think, since the last time I was on your show, by finding his orange knit cap right at the edge of the woods there at, I think, the intersection of Dartmouth and Juniper. We believe he either dropped it or perhaps deliberately left it there so that he couldn't be so easily seen. We don't know. That's speculation, but we do believe it has been there since he left that day, because we took some objects from that area and had the dog see if they had Graham's scent on them, and they didn't. They were the marker that the Demi volunteer Brandy St. Louis left had been moved since she placed it there, and we thought that was odd. We thought perhaps Graham had touched it, but it did not have a scent on it. That day, he was picked up on surveillance camera at the Husson Research Building, which is right kind of in the middle of those woods, or more towards Sylvan Road, for just a brief moment as he kind of ran across their driveway and back into the woods. I was able to look at that footage and make a positive ID that was Graham. That is the last confirmed sighting that we have of him.
So we know that he suffers from autism and schizophrenia, in layman's terminology at least. The thing that people may not understand, that the active investigation has pretty much come to a conclusion, and only about 5 people are now looking for him. Are those numbers correct?
That's right. I think that is something that the general public doesn't really realize, that unless there's a sighting of Graham, they do not bring out resources. DEME is a search and rescue operation. They're not an investigative unit. This is a Bangor Police Department case, and detectives were assigned, but they made it clear to us that they are stepping back and taking a more passive role, because honestly, there is nothing concrete to investigate, nothing concrete to base a search on, because there hasn't been a sighting. So to make up for that, family and a couple of people in the Bangor community, Brandy St. Louis is one that I mentioned, and Robert Kearns is another one, have just tried to help us all this time, all 3 months, to brainstorm where could he be. And we have done things like create a spreadsheet of where resources of food and water might be and woods where he could hide. We've placed signs directed at him to please come home, call, go back to Dorothy Dix, something so that we can help him, improve, get healthy again, live somewhere he feels safe, things like that. We've followed up on everything that came over the scanner that seemed even remotely like it might be him, a person walking along the interstate or someone moving in and out of a tree line, things like that. We've, of course, posted flyers everywhere that we can think of. And so that's what we've been doing for the last 3 months. And it's about, mostly my husband and I, Graham's stepmom, Kimberly Lacher, and then the 2 people I mentioned from the community. We've also found, though I don't want to gloss over this, that many, many people have been looking, and we constantly get reports from the many people who are on the lookout for Graham that they think they might have seen him here or there, and we're very appreciative of those. We follow up on every single one of those as well.
Do you think he still has his glasses? You've told us he has a passion for reading. I don't know if he needs his glasses for reading. I've seen the photos of him with glasses on reading. Do you think he still has his glasses?
I sure hope so. He needs them to see distance more, like in a classroom, for instance, he couldn't see the board from his seat without his glasses. He doesn't require them for reading, but they don't interfere with his reading. He also likes them. I think they're another one of those things that, make him feel protected. So I do think he would try to hang on to them. Of course, it's possible that he's lost them. We know he does no longer have the orange hat, but also if he had an option, I believe he would wear another hat if he could, because it's another layer of protection. This is really common with people diagnosed autistic, is wanting to be covered, layered, protected, things like that.
Well, we know the weather has been okay, but, we're getting into that time of year when it's going to go downhill a little bit. We talked about this the last time, but I'll ask you again. Since there have been no real sightings other than one you mentioned, he has to eat, he has to drink water or something, he has to sleep. Is it even a possibility that he's joined with a homeless group? I know you say he doesn't associate with people very well. Could he be in some type of camping situation with homeless?
Well, honestly, we hope so at this point, because it's hard to imagine that he has managed to just fend for himself. There's still a possibility. What we really covered intensely a particular area, which was pretty big. It was a big ring all around the mall and over to Essex Woods and to Cascade Park, but there were other places that might provide food, water, hiding places. We have really combed the homeless encampment called Tent City out by the airport, and others that are kind of within that area, behind big box stores and along the waterfront and things like that. There are some that we're probably not aware of, we're surprised how many we find when we do go out. That's why the reward has come up at this time, both the season, as you mentioned. We're really desperate now to make sure that we find him before cold weather sets in, but also because it does seem like he must have been helped at some point in order for him to continue to be out there. We're hoping that raising awareness allows people to understand that this is not the case of someone who's just trying to be free. He has a life-threatening medical condition that puts his life at risk. I hope that will convince anyone who has perhaps aided him or even hidden him to change their minds.
Part of me wants to ask Tammy how you're holding up, but instead, how can we help?
Well, I think right now the most important thing is to raise awareness, and I know I sound like a one-note song there, but that is the only way we're going to get a sighting, and getting a sighting is the only way that we get more resources actively deployed to bring Graham home. So allowing me to speak on the radio is a huge help, and I'll just tell you one of the things that we were going to do next. We've already placed an order to print what are called lawn signs or yard signs, and it's just a very simple sign with Graham's picture on it, still missing, call 911. We want to put those in as many key intersections, well-traveled roads throughout Maine, basically to raise awareness, to increase the number of people who know that Graham is missing and that he needs medical attention, to call if you see him. So we're going to focus initially on the most likely corridors that he may have traveled himself, or perhaps been given a ride if he was able to suspend his fear of someone and accept a ride. Basically, we're looking at Kittery to Holton, Waterville and Augusta to Ellsworth, Bangor, Orono, Old Town to Belfast. That's the area. And because we're not a political candidate, we can't place these signs on the public way. We need people who own property at these key traveled ways to let us put those signs there. So we'll be starting an effort to do that, and we just hope that people or businesses who are located at these key intersections and traveled ways will let us put a sign up. We really have to make sure everyone knows that he's missing and that they need to call.
Tammy, thank you for coming on. We'll try to do the best we can. Mm-hmm. Good luck to you. Keep us posted.
Thank you.
Tammy, we're just going to say this because it might just lighten the mood just a little bit. We'll put these signs up, and you'll probably get more votes than some of those people running for office as the signs are up.
Probably logically so.
GHRT Rewinds, brought to you by your hometown real estate team, Laughlin and Wolfington Realty. Thinking about selling your home? Call 629-9211 and start packing.